Hello and welcome to HITC Sport. Right, at the start of the year I picked out one player from every Premier League club at the time who I thought would be their breakout star of 2020. So with the year almost over, let's see if my predictions were correct. Although incredibly, I didn't predict the global pandemic that forced us into a world of Zoom quizzes and drinking on a Tuesday night because there was nothing else to do. So here we go, here are my reactions to my breakout star of 2020 predictions. Let's have a look at what I said about some of these players and say how many I got right. Fortunately, there's no stupid forfeits on the line. I haven't got to fly to Venezuela and drink soil because I said Odion Igalo would do the business at Man United. Arsenal, KIERAN TIERNEY. I think I can say I got this one right. I know Arsenal have been positively awful this season, but at least KIERAN TIERNEY's been okay. Mainly because he hasn't been crippled by injuries like he was when he first joined the Gunners. Any bloke who turns up to a Premier League game with his gear in a Tesco bag for life is good in my eyes, but maybe I've just got low standards. Tierney has been playing most of his football at centre back, which isn't his best position, but whatever, as long as it keeps Mustafi out of the team, then things could have been even uglier for Arsenal. The left back has all the attributes to be a top Premier League fullback and could soon be dining at the same table as Trent Alexander-Arnold and Andy Robertson. Dining at the same table? Christ, Robbo and Trent are still miles ahead. Tierney sat at the Emirates sharing a happy meal with Rob Holt and David Luiz arguing about who gets to keep the toy. Aston Villa, Keane and Davis. Jesus Christ, this was wrong. I mean, what was I thinking? The youngster has never scored a Premier League goal and 2020 would be a great time to start. Spoiler alert, he didn't. Unsurprisingly, Kieran Davis was not the breakout star for Aston Villa in 2020. They didn't survive because of the youngster scoring goal after goal and becoming an England superstar. They survived because goal line technology packed in like a phone dropped down the toilet. Then VAR couldn't clarify the fact that the ball had clearly went over the line. It's like the idiots who drive into fields and lakes because the sat-nav told them to. But anyway, Kieran Davis was not Aston Villa's breakout star of 2020 and I was very, very wrong about this. Dear oh dear. Bournemouth, Lloyd Kelly. When he's fit, Eddie Howe has a real player on his hands and Kelly will be the next example of Dean Court of players stepping up from the Championship. Turns out he didn't have to step up to the Championship. By the time Kelly got fit, the Cherries were in deep, deep trouble and succumbed to relegation with the summer signing making just 8 appearances. Bournemouth are going well in the Championship though, while Kelly is finally looking like a worthwhile investment. So while he wasn't a Premier League breakout star, I suppose he has impressed in red and black, but maybe not as much as he could have. Brighton, ALIREZA, JAHANBAKHSH. Christ, all he had to do was score one overhead kick and here's me tipping it to be Brighton's breakout star. The bloke can't even break himself out of a wet paper bag. Sure, that goal against Chelsea was incredible, but what was I thinking here? It was a thing of beauty, but for 17 million quid you need to do more than score a wonder goal once a year. I promise I won't get carried away when he does it again this January. Burnley, Dwight McNeil. It was a cop-out at the time, but I think it's fair to say I actually got this one wrong. McNeil wasn't Burnley's breakout star, if anything he did worse than expected. The assists haven't been as frequent from the former Man United Academy product, and talk of a big money move away from Turf Moor appears to have gone silent. He had a great 2019, but he can play even better, and it would be a big surprise to see him still at Turf Moor come the end of the year. Well, unless he's gone away for the Christmas holidays, I think I've got this wrong. Chelsea, Reece James. He's an excellent footballer and a future England international. Absolutely nailed it. Reece James was still slightly on the fringes at Chelsea this time last year, but nowadays he starts most weeks, and whenever he does anything okay, Twitter goes into a frenzy claiming he's better than Trent Alexander-Arnold. While that's nowhere near true, he's another excellent defensive option for England, in a position where we're so strong that Gareth Southgate's squads mainly consist of fullbacks nowadays. That's right, England are going to right back their way to European Championship glory. Got this prediction spot on. Yes, I have seen into the future. At me on Twitter, I'm at HITCJames if you want the lottery numbers. Crystal Palace, Max Meyer. Okay, maybe scrap that lottery number idea, but still follow me on Twitter, I'm sometimes funny. Max Meyer, man, this lad was meant to be the next best thing from the Schalke Academy. Right now, I don't actually know if he still exists. Is he injured, or does Roy Hodgson just absolutely hate the bloke? If the penny doesn't drop in 2020 for Max Meyer, then he's got no hope. The penny hasn't dropped, Max Meyer's got no chance. Max, wherever you are, let us know you're okay and we'll help sort out a new club for you. You can even come and work for us. I could do with someone to make the teas. Everton, Moise Kean. I think everyone's rooting for Moise Kean to be a hit after what happened to him at Old Trafford. Actually now, bollocks to that, what a tit. With the Everton faithful behind him, the goals will soon be on their way. Well, the Everton faithful eventually weren't behind him on account of not being allowed on the ground, and the goals weren't on the way either, with Keane getting just one Everton goal after this video went up. However, he's been a lot better at PSG, where he's actually proven to be something of a threat. Not really sure how this works. Why do players playing badly get rewarded with moves to bigger clubs? Kean wasn't Everton's breakout star of 2020, in fact, Everton just wanted a break from him. Leicester City James Justin. He was excellent in League One, but is he up to it in the Premier League? He will be when a chance comes his way, which it certainly will in 2020. Well, Justin has had his chance this season, and my word has he taken it. Leicester have had a lot of injury bother this season with big players missing out, but it's a credit to their depth that they're doing so well, with players like James Justin stepping up massively when an opportunity came their way. More importantly, he's a fantasy football breakout star, on account of being so cheap, playing most weeks, helping himself to assists and getting clean sheets. Absolute points machine. Liverpool Takumi Minamino. I definitely over-egged Takumi Minamino's arrival. My thinking was, Liverpool are playing great, the title's already wrapped up, so it'll be easy for Minamino to slot in, score a few goals and have a grand old time en route to his first Premier League title. I mean, he did end up winning the Premier League title, but in 20 years time, I don't think Liverpool fans will be discussing the pivotal role that Minamino played in it. Ah well, at least he didn't cost too much money, and if this is the only thing Liverpool have got wrong in the past 12 months, it's not been a bad year really. Man City Phil Foden. 2020 has been a breakout year for Phil Foden, although I'm not sure it's been as good as I expected. After lockdown he was incredible, getting goals and assists aplenty in front of the empty stands. I thought once David Silva left he would be a guaranteed starter, but that hasn't quite been what happened. Foden has still been in and out of the team, with City's midfield changing each and every week. It's still been a great year for Foden though, but he'll hope to do even better in 2021 to cement his place in England's Euro 2020 side. 2020 could be the year for England's next big thing. Well, I mean, he was certainly a big hit with the ladies over in Iceland. Man United Mason Greenwood. Speaking of hits in Iceland, Mason Greenwood was added over there too. But despite his England misdemeanours, Greenwood has done exactly what I thought he would and been Man United's definitive breakout star. Particularly late last season, he was unstoppable. His finishing was ridiculously good. He's got that natural ability you just can't teach. While this season's been tougher and there's also been added pressure from the media because they've got to pick on someone, Greenwood has certainly had a 2020 to remember. Newcastle United Joelinton. Newcastle need the Brazilian to start firing, as the £40 million fee is looking more and more ridiculous each passing game. I mean, I suppose it has been better. He scored more goals in 2020 than he did 2019 for Newcastle. At least now the Magpies aren't reliant on him, as Callum Wilson reminds Toon fans every week about what a proper striker looks like. Joelinton has continued to blow hot and cold in a Newcastle shirt, so I don't think we can really call him a breakout star, but at least he hasn't got worse, although I don't think that was possible. Unless he started banging the ball into his own net, that would have been worse, although not a very high bar for a £40 million footballer. Norwich City Mario VRANCIC. Norwich can't just rely on Pukki, and a strong 2020 for VRANCIC could keep the Canaries in the top flight. Okay, so his return to fitness didn't keep the Canaries in the top flight. Unsurprisingly, one of England's greatest yo-yo clubs went straight back down, meaning I was wrong about VRANCIC breaking out from the shadows and keeping the Canaries up. He's doing well in the Championship again though, so at least I wasn't totally wrong. Actually, I guess I was. I mean, seeing him do well in the second tier isn't a surprise. He did it last time en route to promotion. Sheffield United Ben Osborn. Nah, not sure I can claim this one either. He's done alright when he's played, but he just hasn't been a guaranteed starter under Chris Wilder. The fans seem to love him, but the manager doesn't. So while he's done okay, I don't think I can call him a breakout star. Ah well, at least he'll be handy if the Blades do indeed drop back down to the Championship, which is looking pretty likely to be honest. Southampton Michael OBAFEMI. He got himself a couple of goals in lockdown, but I don't think that's enough to brand him a breakout star. It's like handing Mike Ashley an Oscar for his role in Goal 3. Check it out if you've never seen it, one of the hilariously bad films I've ever seen. Anyway, Obafemi's barely had a chance this season at St Mary's, and that's mainly because Che Adams has suddenly decided to be quite good in the Premier League. Tottenham Ryan Sessegnon. While the Jose Mourinho era has got off to a rocky start, one positive is seeing Ryan Sessegnon get a crack. Okay, so I got this one very wrong. Nowadays, Jose Mourinho's a man reborn and taking his Tottenham side for a title challenge, and while Ryan Sessegnon did get some football early on, now he's been loaned out to Bundesliga side Hoffenheim. So no, Ryan Sessegnon was not Tottenham's breakout star. In fact, maybe his departure was the catalyst of Spurs suddenly doing so well. He scored a cracker against Bayern in the Champions League, and 2020 should be seen truly emerge as a top flight star. Yeah, that hasn't happened at all, let's move on. Watford Ismaila Sarr. Personally, it has been a breakout year for Ismaila Sarr. It's just a shame that was also a year that included relegation to the Championship in his first season of English football. But Sarr is clearly far too good for the second tier and was heavily linked with a return to the top flight over the summer, with some big clubs keen on his signature. Sarr has certainly had some breakout moments over the past 12 months, but it wasn't enough to stop the Hornets dropping down back into the Championship. West Ham Pablo FORNALS. I think I can claim this one. While West Ham have had other breakout stars in Bourne and Soucek, FORNALS too has improved, and when this video went up those players hadn't even joined the club, so something seriously would have been up if I'd picked one of them. While FORNALS isn't as good as I thought he'd be when he joined the club, he's certainly having an impact this season, so while branding him a breakout star might be a little bit too much, he certainly isn't the flop we all feared he was. Wolves, PEDRO, NETO. Right, while FORNALS was questionable, I 100% got this bang on. He's quick in possession and is starting to add an end product to his game, and giving Nuno even more options going forward in 2020. That's exactly what he did, and a big reason why Wolves could afford to sell Jota to Liverpool over the summer. Neto's stock has risen so much over the past 6 months, and now he's a top Premier League winger who defenders fear. I know I'd be terrified facing him, the bloke's like the piss and roadrunner. By the time I'd realised I was in trouble he'd left me for dust in a puddle of my own tears. So there we go, we've looked back at the players I predicted to be the breakout stars in 2020. Some were right and some were very wrong. But thank you so much for watching, let me know what you think in the comments down below. As always, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to HITC Sport, and until next time we will see you around.